that there had to be a way out of this. Something I hadn't thought of yet. My trajectory was still looking pretty terminal, but it was slowing. If I just fired the right thrusters, fired my weapons, something, I could escape. I always did. But as I watched that line on the console, my hands froze above it. I only moved them. I think I picked a pretty good piece of profanity to scream before I smacked that comm panel and asked him, "What do I do?" At that moment, I felt something that I hadn't felt since I was a child. Fear. Utter terror. I was shaking, trembling. It filled me like whiskey in a glass. For so long, I thought I didn't feel things like that. Turns out I had just turned it off. When I turned it back on, I wasn't ready. I could barely concentrate on what the pilot was telling me. I had composed myself just long enough to tell me that the gas giant that was once my worst enemy had just become my best friend. He told me that for now, as long as I was close to Voli Omega, I had some hope, but my acceleration was closing that window fast. There's never enough time, is there? The gravity of the gas giant had an effect on my trajectory, but as soon as I left it, there was nothing short of hitting a planet stopping my velocity. He said time was short, so to listen to him carefully. I was already having my regrets. He knew my fuel was just about out, so I had to use it strategically. First, I was to use my maneuvering thrusters to turn the ship completely opposite in the direction I'm traveling. Second, for as long as I still had something in the tank, I had to hit a full burn. He heard some good profanity then, and I made sure to repeat the best ones, just so we could hear them a second time. But I think among those sweet expletives, I must have told him that would tear the ship in two, because he calmly replied, "Whether you have a ship around you or not, you're just as dead. Firing a full burn while in vicinity of that giant will give you a chance at easing your trajectory. This way, you have a chance." So I did what he asked, turned the ship around until it was facing opposite of where I was heading. Then, I activated the main engines. I was thrown back on my chair. The bulkheads in my cabin started to scream. Nuts and bolts started firing from the walls like bullets. Cracked a few computer console screens. Almost hit me. But on one of the screens still intact, I noticed my trajectory started to slow. Away from that deepest, darkest reaches of space and somewhere close to the Voli Omega's only moon, lit a wall of ice. Not important. Until now. I knew my comm system had survived my ship nearly tearing in two when I heard him speak up. I was almost happy to hear his voice. Even happier when he told me to cut the engines. That feeling, though, was short-lived. When he asked me if I remembered him telling me that only a planet could stop my velocity. Then he said, "A moon will have to do." I had nothing left to say but just to tell him to get to the point. He told me to use my maneuvering thrusters to ease me in line with the moon. Then my shields should absorb most of the impact. I spat at the panel, telling him I had no freaking idea if my shields still worked. Told him my little explosive stunt in Omega's atmosphere and my little stay in its deepest depths had drained my shields to its last little drops. Then he laughed. Guess we'll find out together. Telling me after everything we've personally been through, it would be a shame if I'm frozen in deep space, or some bloody stain on a moon. Saying at the very least, I deserve an all-expenses-paid trip to a UC penitentiary. I kicked the panel. Suffocating alone in deep space, or being a robin-shaped stain on a moon no one knows the name of, versus stuck in something that the United Colonies called a prison, was quite the dilemma. But for the first time in my life, I felt more than fear. I wanted to live. I maneuvered the longsword in line with the moon, and in moments I saw the moon fill up my view. I tried to activate my shields. Nothing. Pressed it again. Nothing. Kept pressing it, but there wasn't even a flicker from the bashed-in console beneath me. By this point, that moon filled my entire view, and I couldn't see a speck of the beyond past it. At this point, I felt I was only tapping the button just for therapeutic reasons. With only a few thousand feet between me and the surface, I closed my eyes and expected to never open them again. But then they did. I felt a thud throughout the ship. When I opened my eyes, I was looking at the surface upside down, then hurtling towards me once more. But then a blue light lit up in front of me. The shields worked. The long sword bounced along the surface just like tossing a blue pebble across the pond outside the mast building. Finally, I slowed, and thanks to my guardian angel up there, I stopped. I survived.
What happened after that? You got my attention.
I sat back. Fear finally went away. I felt something else. Like fear, I hadn't felt it in a long time. Happy. Happy to be alive. Briefly. There were still a few pilots up there ready to bring an end to this party. It wasn't long before I saw those neon security ships land beside me. I can still remember those gloating eyes of the head security officer as he peered at me behind that security glass, like he'd done shit. Still, I guess he finally caught the one thing that had made his life miserable for all those years. As I prepared myself for my life behind bars, one of the UC pilots walked into my cell. Turns out it was the man himself, Mr. Guess We'll Find Out Together. A little gray on the temples, but otherwise everything you'd expect from your handsome, rugged Navy ace. I told him that he'd come just in time. Neon head cop just finished gloating, so he had her all to himself. He was a lot more confident thousands of miles away on the comm, but eventually he got around to tell me that he liked the way I fly. I told him that our brief time together will keep me going in those long nights in the slammer. Then he got all serious. Told me that I had a choice, that either I could spend the rest of my life in prison, or I could fly for the United Colonies.
Well, you clearly accepted what was going through your mind at the time. Let me guess, this must be your probation, right? We know how it go because they hit us with the same crap. What was going through your mind at that time?
What was going through my mind was that he could go to hell. I told him no. He got mad. It was kind of hot. Asking me that even if I got out, did I want to spend the rest of my life picking locks, jacking ships, and getting into fights? That's when I got a little mad. Who the hell was this pedigree asshole to judge me? I accused him of wanting to turn me into the perfect little UC citizen. Some new Atlantis drone. Telling me that when I got into my next fight, someone should have my back. And he said that he could think of no one better to have her back than the United Colonies Navy.
You had a point.
Remains to be seen. Worked out so far. After that, I left Neon behind and signed up.
I'm
Had to
glad
pay
you
off that
stopped
smashed-up
stealing and
longsword
stuff.
somehow, right?
You almost made me cry with
You know,
that story last
I
night.
never did get around to leaving and going back to my old ways. You could say I found my flock.
You should be honored to step foot in here.
What are you talking about, fool? You should be honored that I let you be in my presence. All right, Robin.
Trouble? I was just getting a little bored.
Hey, come on, let's go. Hey, bruh, if I tell you one more time to get up off of Robin. Come on, let's go. Wow, bro. Awesome. Like, she's the best storyteller there is, bro. I'm telling you, whoever made
I could
Robin,
go for a long walk or a short nap.
man, Please, man, you have to make her romanceable, bro. You have to. She's a very unique, you know what I mean? Very unique woman. I would love to have her as a wife, not no freaking fling. A wife. We don't do flings around here. We married. Think about it. Robin. Wife. Let's go. I've been saying it for a long time. Got the best stories, bro. I'm telling you, whoever. They genius, bro. A freaking genius. Like the best storyline. I've probably better than the storylines of the games itself, bro. My goodness, like you just can't. I'm sorry, yo. She is like awesome. Robin is past off. That's just not exciting. Love her.
We're here. Or somewhere at least.
Wife material.
Entering United Colony space. Maintain course and prepare to be scanned. Alright, we're done. We're cleared to land at New Atlantis.
I can't believe it turned off at the last part of it. I hope they come back and catch it. I'ma just put them both behind each other on YouTube. But here, I don't even know if it'll work that way, because you know how they go. On here, you can be able to watch both of them. You got 7 days. I don't know how to make it last longer than that. I don't even think I can. So. I probably can put it together on YouTube.